I'm going to call this meeting to order. Would everyone please stand with me and salute the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let the record show that all members of the board are present this evening. And I will entertain a motion to adopt the agenda. So moved.
Second.
I'm good with the agenda. Can I change the order, or do we need to?
I think we can
approve
do
it
that
first?
afterwards, right?
Okay,
We can do it in any order we wish, really.
okay.
So, Mr. Reyes,
Yes.
Mr. Kinnear,
Yes.
Dr. McNeil,
Yes.
Ms. McAdams?
Yes.
The chair votes yes as well. All right, yes?
We have, it's amended to,
For the-
adopt the agenda as amended.
Oh, yeah, adopt the agenda as amended.
Yes.
All right, we are going to move item, where's it? Item C2 up to the first on the agenda. If that is okay with everybody. Under school operations, number 2, consider and take action to modify the district's COVID response procedures in regards to masks and face coverings. Mr. Bushyhead?
Yes, President Romerman, Dr. Hartzler, Board, bringing to you a recommendation to consider suspending the current COVID face covering requirement that we have in our district, and considering suspending that effective tomorrow.
Any discussion?
Sure. Yeah, so this has been definitely, a source of palpitations for many of us moving forward. One of the things that has been just pervasive as we look at this is what are the recommendations? What does the science say? And so it's been such a sigh of relief to see that here, as of March 3rd, according to the CDC, that we no longer are required to wear a mask indoors, just based off of our numbers, based off of our vaccine rates. And so for everyone here and the work that we put in to be able to make this possible, and the people that have had to endure, the worst brunt of this, I just say, it's time. And, kudos to you, kudos to our district, kudos to the families. And as we move forward with this, and obviously you can already tell kind of where I'm in support of, but one of the things that I really urge you to think about is not necessarily don't let down your guard, because that assumes an air of defense, as opposed to this is a great time to get ahead of the curve. This is a great time to get in touch with your primary care provider. It's a great time to figure out, what just happened these past 2 years in our systems and how this thing has just kind of pushed us to the brink, and we've been resilient. So it's a great time to come together and talk to people that you haven't seen in a long time and just check in on them and make sure that we move forward with a sense of accomplishment, but also a sense of we know what to expect now. You can't catch us by surprise twice if we stay vigilant. So for that, I say thank you for your patience. Thank you for dealing with me and my kind of stubbornness in this. And I appreciate all you guys and congratulate you for us making it to this point.
I just want to add so I would say that probably about 80% of the emails that I get regarding masks are from a parent whose kid is being bullied one way or the other. Either because we have a mask option or a mask mandate in place and they're choosing not to, and so they're getting bullied because they're not wearing a mask, and other kids are telling them they don't care about anybody, and this is what I'm hearing from parents, or vice versa. If there's not a mask mandate and they're wearing one, then why are you so scared of everything, and on and on. You guys know, a lot of you are parents. So I would just put out a plea to parents out there to talk to your kids about this. Like, it's become such a big deal to wear a mask or not wear a mask, and it shouldn't be. So I just want to put out there, however this vote goes tonight, to just talk with your kids about, it doesn't matter, you need to do what you're comfortable with, and to stop picking on other kids or teachers or colleagues because of what they want to do to feel comfortable.
Any more discussion? I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve.
Second?
Dr. McNeil?
Yes.
Mr. Reyes?
Yes.
Mr. Kinnear?
Yes.
Ms. McAdams?
Yes.
The chair votes yes as well.
Thank you.
So much easier.
Effective tomorrow? Okay, well, a little premature.
You said effective tomorrow.
It is effective tomorrow. All right. We're going to move on to the consent agenda. All of the following items, those items of a routine nature normally approved at board meetings, will be approved by one vote unless any board member desires to have a separate vote on any or all of these items. The consent agenda consists of a discussion and consideration and action on the following items. Items A through Z. However, items G and, just items G, right, on the consent? Item G has been withdrawn.
Move for approval.
Second?
Okay. Dr. McNeil?
Yes.
Ms. McAdams?
Yes.
Mr. Reyes?
Yes.
Mr. Kinnear?
Yes.
The chair votes yes as well. Okay, information reports. Do we have a representative from USPA this evening? Yep. All right, UCTA, I believe you're here. Come share with us, Ms. Churchill.
President Rummerman, Dr. Hartzler, members of the board, we're keeping our eyes on public ed bills currently working their way through the legislature and keeping members informed. We attended OEA's organizing conference. Members have also met with legislators at the Capitol, and we held elections for the next 2 years officer, and Carrie Gunter will be president, Dina Churchill vice president. Let me think. Michelle Thomas is, I always want to call her Thomas, I don't know. Michelle Taylor is treasurer, and Jamie Cole will be secretary.
Thank you. All right, and this evening we have a special recognition. Mr. Pissarro, all-state band, orchestra, and choir students.
Good evening, President Romerman, Dr. Hartzler, members of the board. It's my pleasure tonight, on behalf of the Fine Arts Department and our director, Dr. McCready, to take a moment, a pause tonight to celebrate some of our best and brightest, most talented, dedicated students in the school district. You guys did really well, because I usually have to pull them out of the back, so this is followed to a T. This year, we had 10 students make the all-state musician roster. So competing against hundreds, actually thousands of musicians from around the state for top honors and a chance to perform in the all-state ensembles. Began with a rigorous audition process, and after hundreds of hours of preparation on each of their parts, were honorably selected to be part of the ensembles. The ensembles met back in January as part of the Oklahoma Music Educators Association annual winter convention, and after 3 days of intensive rehearsals, brought on a concert. Each ensemble brought on a concert for the public, for the parents, and all the other musicians in the state, music educators in the state, to enjoy and showcase all their talents. So their opportunity to play with the best musicians in the entire state was certainly an admirable one, but one that they earned. And so tonight, we're just going to, again, take this pause, and I'd like each of them to represent themselves, or to introduce themselves tonight, and then we can maybe take a moment to applaud. We usually take a picture too, which would be great. So almost all of them are here tonight, and so I'm going to let them come and introduce themselves now.
I'm Caleb. I'm a junior and percussionist.
You guys come up here.
I'm Caleb. I'm a junior and I'm a percussionist.
I'm Ashlyn Ludwig. I'm a senior and I play bass clarinet.
I'm David Keck. I'm a sophomore and I'm a cellist.
I'm Orion McKenzie, and I'm a senior who plays violin.
My name is Destiny Reyes. I'm a senior and I play the flute.
My name is Michael Drew. I'm a senior and I play clarinet.
My name is Xander. I'm a senior and I play saxophone.
My name is Gabriel McLean. I'm a sophomore and I play the trumpet.
Well, I appreciate all of you being here tonight to celebrate this moment. Also want to say thank you to the parents who've joined us here tonight. I know you're very proud of your kids. We have one of our other teachers here tonight, Mrs. Lawless. Thank you for being here. Definitely a great time to celebrate, especially as we go into graduation here in a few weeks with these seniors that we say farewell to have one extra moment to celebrate with our school district community as a whole is a great opportunity. So let's give all the students one more round of applause tonight.
That's fun.
Right, and the good news keeps coming. Dr. Hartzler, Oklahoma Teacher of the Year.
I think we have one. Well, it is my distinct honor and privilege to be able to introduce to you our Oklahoma Teacher of the Year, Rebecca Peterson. And Rebecca, if you would come forward. Well, I want to say just a few words before I turn this over to Mrs. Peterson, and that is, I know she would say this as well, but anytime I think a school garners an award of this magnitude, I do think it is truly a testament, collectively speaking, to the excellence that we have here at Union Public Schools. And she is going to be a phenomenal ambassador for not only Oklahoma. I've already kind of penciled out on my calendar that we're going to be in D.C. in about a year from now, I think. Rebecca is, as you all know, those of you who work with her and those of you who have been so fortunate maybe who have had children in her class, is just this incredible teacher, but certainly I would say an even more remarkable person. She truly pours her heart into everything that she does, not only in terms of with our students, but also with her colleagues. And that is, I think, is what makes her such a special person, is the fact that it's not about herself. It's about raising the tide for others. And I can tell you last Thursday, I didn't sleep much. You probably didn't either. Wednesday night, because I kept thinking, okay, we have not had a Teacher of the Year in Oklahoma for quite some time. As a matter of fact, the last one we had was in 2003. And I just kept thinking, okay, this has got to be it. This has got to be it. So if you were watching it live, if you saw someone probably make a fool of himself in terms of jumping and giving a big old shout out, that was me. You might not have seen me do that, but Rebecca, we are very, very proud of you, and know you will be a tremendous ambassador for not only Union but also for our state of Oklahoma. And truly, we wish you the best. The sad part about it's kind of like you hate this is the fact that you love the fact that she has won this, but the downside is, and I've already heard from a parent or two to say, Dr. Hartzler, does that mean now that we lose her for a year? And we do. We don't really lose you, but unfortunately she will not be in her classroom. But I guess you can come back from time to time and maybe instruct. I'll talk to the state superintendent about that. We'll see if we can make that happen. But she will be traveling throughout all the state of Oklahoma for the next year. But just so honored and so proud of you, Rebecca. So please.
Way down. Thank you. It is such an honor. For those of you who don't know my story, I'm an immigrant to the United States. I had actually lived in 4 different countries by the time I was 16. And while I'm very, very grateful for those diverse cultural experiences now as an adult, as a child, they leave you feeling a bit untethered. It kind of plays a mind game on you when you don't quite know how to answer the question, where are you from? But it's really come full circle for me now, getting to work at Union, where I get to work with other first-generation Americans, and I get to work with children who come from really similar experiences from me, and I can look them in the eye and say that your differences don't make you weird, they make you beautiful, and our diversity is our strength. I truly believe that here at Union, and so this is such an honor. I believe wholeheartedly in the mission of public education, that everyone's in, no matter your skin color or your zip code, no matter your gender or what your parents make, no matter if your ancestors came here on the Mayflower or if, like me, you're one of the first in your family to step off that plane. You are in, you belong, you have a seat at the table. I think that is the foundation of democracy, right? And teachers are at the very heart of that. So I'm so honored for this opportunity. I'm so excited to get to listen to other teachers and be inspired by them and share their stories, because I truly believe that teachers are at the heart of public education. So very, very honored for this opportunity. Thank you.
I kind of felt a little bad and empty because I didn't really have a memento to give her, other than the fact that I was at the Capitol all day for several meetings, and I had some senators stop me to say, we want to let you know that there are proclamations that are forthcoming. So that will be one of many things I'm sure you'll be receiving. So congrats.
Move on to hearings and correspondence. I don't believe we have anything under that section tonight. So we can move on to the business agenda. Number 6. Which one is this? Okay. All right, item number 1, consider and take action on the 22-23 application for temporary appropriations for the 22-23 fiscal year for the general building and child nutrition funds. Dr. Williams.
Good evening, Madam President, members of the board. Tonight we have 2 items, the first being a recommendation for approval of the 22-23 temporary appropriations. As you all know, under Oklahoma law, schools are required to approve and file temporary appropriations prior to submitting a budget and prior to submitting the estimate of needs each year. We send this to the County Excise Board, who approves it, and that gives the school district spending authority beginning July 1st.
Move for approval.
Second.
Mr. Reyes?
Yes.
Mr. Kinnear?
Yes.
Dr. McNeil?
Yes.
Ms. McAdams?
Yes.
The chair votes yes as well.
Thank you.
Item number 2, receive bids for the purchase of $26,100,000 combined purpose general obligation bonds of the district and vote to award said bonds to the lowest bidder, complying with the notice of sale and instructions to bidders. These are not separate, these are both together, or do they need to be separated?
Yes, ma'am, they're together. The board receives the
Okay.
quotes and awards to the bid.
All right, consider and take action on a resolution providing for the issuance of combined purpose general obligation bonds of 22 in the sum of $26,100,000 by Independent School District Number 9 of Tulsa County, Oklahoma, authorized at an election called and held for such a purpose. Prescribing form of bonds, designating bonds as combined purpose general obligation bonds of 2022. Providing for the registration thereof, providing for the levy of an annual tax for the payment of principal and interest on the same, approving the form of a continuing disclosure certificate, and fixing their other details of issue. I did it.
We have this evening Mr. Chris Wolf with MFS, who is here. He's going to review the bids that we received this morning. While he is making his way up, I will mention to you that last week we were pleased to receive word that Standard & Poor's affirmed our AA+ bond rating, which is always good news. Certainly one of the highest in the state. We were not quite as happy with our bids that we received, but we received 6 bids this morning, and altogether a very, very favorable rate. Chris is handing out the bid tabulation, which I believe we also sent out this morning to the board. You can see that we did receive those 6 bids, and I'll let him walk through the details.
Good evening. I'm Chris Wolf with Municipal Finance Services. We held your bond sale this morning for your combined purpose bonds of $26.1 million. We had a pretty active market for these bonds. We did receive 6 bids. The spread between the highest and lowest bid was about 20 basis points, but the cover bid, which is the second lowest bid, was just right next to that first bid. So very quality bids that we received, although they were a little higher than we would have anticipated. Piper Sandler and Company was the low bid at an interest cost of a 1.74%. Again, with the current market shift over the past 60 days, we are anticipating these to be right around kind of a 1.35%, but we've seen rates just continue to creep up just every week, and with current political climate, we've just kind of seen that increase. This is on par with what we've seen in the market today, though. So you all received a fair bid compared to what other participants in the just local area received today. So we recommend you accept Piper Sandler and Company's bid tonight.
Yeah, certainly I'm in favor of that, and we'll make that motion. Curious when we think we will see rates increase on the deposit side.
If I knew that, I don't think I'd be here tonight.
But by comparison, so we're paying 1.74. If we deposited this tomorrow, what would we be earning? What's the difference in that spread? Probably about 1.5, maybe.
Close, yeah. At this point, yeah. I mean, this is we're kind of back to where we were 2 years ago.
Right.
We benefited from the COVID
Yeah.
hit in interest rates and across the board on the deposit side and on the borrowing side. So, yeah, probably in that area, which is comparable to where we were almost exactly 2 years ago.
I would point out that on our treasurer's report, most of our T-bills are currently in the .27
Right.
range.
And those
So
are-
there's considerable spread.
That'd be
Right.
No immediate risk for rebate or arbitrage there.
Yeah, we're not. Yeah.
Well,
Where'd those days go?
Yeah. Well, it's amazing that we're sitting here complaining, so to speak, about the ultra-high interest rate of 1.74.
Hey, we got a little
so-
spoiled.
Yeah. So, anyway, thank you for your efforts. I move for approval.
Second. Mr. Reyes?
Yes.
Mr. Kinnear?
Yes.
Ms. McAdams?
Yes.
Dr. McNeil?
Yes.
The chair votes yes as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, under instruction, item number 1, first reading on the revised 22-23 school calendar. Dr. Hartzler?
Thank you, President Romerman, board members. As you all know, this is something that we proposed a while back, and back in February, and was hoping to be able to bring to you a final recommendation. But as we've had this out for folks to weigh in terms to provide us input as to the 3 options we provided, believe it or not, we could not really find, or there was not a clear consensus, overwhelming consensus to say that this calendar was better than the other 2. But I will say from the input that we have received, we were able to narrow it down from 3 options down to 2. And so we are now, I felt like we needed to put it back out there probably for another few weeks and narrow it down from just calendar 1 option and calendar 2. In addition to this time, throughout the first reading, also it came to our attention that we needed to revise the calendar a bit. As you are well aware that this year we had 4 virtual days in our calendar. We all felt like that probably that was too many. Knowing that the importance of these virtual days has to do with allowing our teachers uninterrupted time to be able to have some rich collaboration, which, as you know, is vitally important to instruction and effective teaching and learning. So instead of 4, teaching and learning wanted us to also come back and say, well, again, we would like to have 2 days. So you will notice that on this first reading of these 2 options that we did put back in 2 days for virtual. So you'll notice that we reduced the professional development days from 7 down to 5. Then also on the calendar, the difference is that we removed 2 days off the end of the year on this first reading. I know for some folks, in terms of planning purposes, my family would be one of them to say, well, we always like to know when school starts. Nothing's changing there. The first proposed day that I put out in February is still the same. The only really difference, again, deals with the winter break and the little slight adjustments there, and then also the 2 additional virtual days that we've put in. They will be professional development days, but they've changed to virtual days from PD. So, Ms. Calvin, do you want to weigh in on that a little bit?
We will have, on all of our professional development days and on the virtual days, those days will all include some collaboration for the teachers. So it's the 2 virtual days that are on the calendar that you're looking at, those will be 2 days the students will be receiving their virtual instruction. So they will count as instructional days. The teachers, like I said, will be collaborating. We're looking at September 6th, the 17th of October, January 17th, February 21st, and April 10th. Those days will all include some collaboration and PD.
Well, I appreciate you guys giving us an extra month. I appreciate everybody's input. I think we got a lot of really valuable input in this, so I know it's not convenient to pop it out another month, but I think it's better to make it right. So I appreciate that. All right, we do some share.
Was there, and this is still kind of foreign to me, actually realizing the amount of detail from pre-COVID to whether post or intra-COVID, wherever we kind of are right now. But in terms of collaboration, do we still have the time for late start Fridays embedded for teachers, or is that ever coming back? Or
Go ahead.
Thank you.
I will comment on that to say, if you recall that when the pandemic started, we realized that so many things were changing, and so we did away with Late Start Fridays, knowing that at some point in time we would hope to bring them back. But I think as we've advanced a little more in terms of with virtual instruction and virtual learning, the recommendation right now is, as it stands for next year, is not to go back to Late Start Fridays, but to capitalize and allow our students to take advantage of this virtual learning. We know, Dr. McNeil, about virtual learning. It's not going to go away, right? If anything, our students need to become more adept to what that's about. But not only do our students need to, I think the same thing is true for our teachers too. It's a skill, and it's something that was forced upon us 2 years ago. If you remember, we were making some pretty good steps along the line to try to have more virtual learning opportunities for our kids, and all of a sudden the pandemic had something else in mind, and that was in a matter of, I think it was 2 weeks, we shifted to over 15,000 students being completely virtual. So I think this is a good recommendation that we are proposing, to say that we still are dipping our toe in this virtual space and in this virtual world, because we know it's going to be something that is here to stay. And again, I think the more we can experience it and certainly hone the skills that are involved in the virtual learning experience, I think the better off not only our students will be, but also our faculty as well. I certainly don't want to think about going through another pandemic, not in my career or any of our lives as far as that goes, but we're getting better at this. We're still a long ways from perfection, but we are getting better compared to where we were 2 years ago. Yeah.
Definitely. Okay.
All right, nothing to vote on. Everybody can assess it for the next month. All right, we're going to move on to school operations, another really exciting moment for our district. We will consider and take action on a new mascot logo for the district. Mr. Payne.
Good evening, President Romerman, Dr. Hartzler, and members of the board. It is with great pleasure that I bring to you a recommendation that we finalize and approve the new Redhawks mascot logo for the district. Excuse me. As you will remember, the board voted in November to select Redhawks as the official mascot. Now we're at the phase where we're going to make a recommendation about the graphic identity of the Redhawks. We have gone through a very extensive design and vetting process that involved input from the mascot naming committee, as well as students, parents, teachers, staff, and the community. Initially, we had started with a professional artist who created some really interesting concepts, but we were unable to come to any kind of consensus when shown to internal audiences. The message I got loud and clear was, these do not feel union. Well, help arrived unexpectedly, and let's just roll the video here real quickly.
Trying to add life to the Red Hawk, I want it to be, really lively, show the fierceness of the hawk, and I want to be attractive to an audience, like people are entertained. So that's what I try to do in the anime stuff. I want it to be very appealing. What got me thinking about the design and, submitting it to the school it was really my dad. He encouraged me to do some designs on my own and submit it to you guys because he wanted the school to have a cool logo. I've drawn since I was a kid, like as far as I can remember. I only got an iPad about a year ago. There's a lot of different things you can do on an iPad that you can't do on paper. And so I've experimented with a lot of different forms of art. In the beginning, I wasn't like planning on being all part of this and stuff. I kind of just wanted to draw something cool design a little logo and give it to you guys, and maybe, I didn't really expect even for you guys to like use it, but you guys did. It was a pretty cool process to see it, put into the hands of a real professional from a college, and they have experience, in this field of graphic design. It's pretty neat, I'm able to learn a lot of different things that like I can't do on my iPad, but I can do on a computer. It's been a long process. Of course, there's been a ton of changes. My phone has probably like 50 to 70 photos just of all the different colors, all the different, different changes to like the shape of the Redhawk, all that stuff. The color variations in the logo, I think it's able to appeal to a lot more people. I like the finished result. I think it's going to be a good representation of Union. I don't know how the saying goes, but it's kind of like, if you like what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. And I like what I do, so I think I could see this being, a career for me. When I was in 5th grade, drawing pictures of like comic book covers or whatever. Now I'm designing a logo for the school, so some progress is being made. It feels pretty great. It's a pretty big accomplishment in my life that I really never expected. And I mean, to think it'll be everywhere, it'll be on shirts, it might be put on the school building, and there's going to be a ton of, ways to implement this new logo. To think, I might be 50 or 40 or something one day, and I'll look back and my logo will still be here on the school building. I mean, that's going to be pretty crazy. And I'm definitely going to take a few pictures by that stuff.
I would now like to introduce Caden in person. Caden, if you'd come up and join me. This is our artist, Caden Morales, and he is joined tonight by his mom and dad, Misty and Gabriel Morales, and his girlfriend is here as well, so welcome. As you can tell, it was Gabriel's animation that really got our attention. When I started showing it around to people, completely different reaction. I got a lot of, now that is Union. I think there was some fierceness that it showed, and we made some slight changes. Actually, you'd probably say it was a lot of changes, but a lot of back and forth, and he was a really great sport through all of this. I think he's finding that even professional artists, there's a lot of times there are a lot of people in the background that are making changes. So we really, really appreciate Caden's patience. We did take his logo to the Mascot naming committee and also showed other designs, and unanimously they said this is the one that we would like to move forward as a finalist, which we did. We went out and used Thought Exchange again and shared, and more than 1,500 people participated in that, with 75% saying they either loved or liked the design, which, given the current temperature in our world right now, getting 75% of people to agree on anything is a major, it's a major accomplishment. I don't think he even realizes, but then we had more than 15, you could go out and then rate people's things that people said, and we had more than 15,000 ratings that were given, and it was across all of our audiences. So really, really great representation. We then did go out, we made some slight adjustments. We made Union a little bit bigger. We lightened the silver color, really tried to listen to everybody. But we've arrived at what we think is the final version. There are going to be some, this will be the primary logo, and then there will be some other color variations that you'll see depending on the background. But this is where we've landed. We did end up in February, we had a vote of the students in grades 4 through 12, and 72% of students voted to approve it. So it's pretty close to what we learned from the Thought Exchange. Before we move on, I would be remiss if I did not thank a couple of other people. Jennifer Fisher, who's seated up front, at Union High School, the sponsor of U-Hype, she has been very, very helpful as we've kind of guided
Caden through this process. Mackenzie Matheson, who was on our Mascot committee, is a graphic designer, offered some really, really terrific suggestions. She's kind of an expert around font usage, so it was really, really helpful. And then Hannah Hudspeth, who's the graphic designer on our staff. So we're at the point now where if this is approved, we will then finalize our standards for how we'll use the logo, and we will register with the state of Oklahoma. So that is the plan, and with that, I'm going to leave you with the recommendation.
We'll go ahead and do that. We'll just, I guess I could do this contingent upon the votes. Let's do that, okay. Katie, we do have that momentum for you, and that is, we want to thank Angie Davis at our U-Wear store in knowing that this was coming before the board this evening. So we wanted you to have the very first screen print of our new mascot, contingent upon board approval. You always have to kind of dance around these things, right? So contingent upon board approval, but I think we're going to be okay. But if you would open that up there, and we'll let you be the first one to officially have the first. All right, show the audience very good. I'm going to give you an early congratulations, okay? So.
We got you, buddy.
I think we're done. I think they're going to vote.
Move for approval.
Second.
Dr. McNeil?
Yes.
Ms. McAdams?
Yes.
Mr. Reyes?
Yes, I want to reiterate how awesome it is that it's a student that did this for us. That's amazing.
Mr. Kinnear?
I'll vote yes as well.
The chair votes yes as well. We have a new logo. All right. Item number 3. Consider and take action to approve revisions to board policy number 5500, student transfer. Dr. Nelson.
Sorry, caught up in all these.
Yeah, I know.
It is a great day to be a Redhawk.
Hey, always.
Yes, I recommend that the board approve the updates to the transfer policy. They're really very minor, but I am living up to Dr. Hartzler's promise that you'd probably see this again a couple of times before he finalized the transfer policy. These minor updates are really due to kind of how the procedures are going, the way the state has adopted some rules about it, and just some things we want to avoid confusion. So we just made a few tweaks to it.
Move for approval.
Second.
Mr. Kinnear?
Yes.
Mr. Reyes?
Yes.
Ms. McAdams?
Yes.
Dr. McNeil?
Yes.
The chair votes yes as well. Okay, item number 4, consider and take action to approve the capacity levels and the calculated open transfer capacity amounts as recommended.
Yes, on this, recommend that you would approve these. These are required, the capacity levels are required to be posted with any changes or fresh data by April 1st. So after your approval, we'll have these posted. We have the previous capacity numbers posted. They do get adjusted as the capacity fills on a monthly basis. There are not significant changes. It's just, again, adjustments made based on some class size changes that have occurred in the last quarter. So,
Any discussion?
Move for approval.
Second.
Mr. Kinnear?
Yes.
Mr. Reyes?
Yes.
Dr. McNeil?
Yes.
Ms. McAdams?
Yes.
The chair votes yes as well. Thank you,
thank you.
Dr. Nelson. Item number 5, consider and take action on the purchase of 231 laptop computers and cases from Trafera in the amount of $119,889 from ESSER 3 funds. Mr. Borland.
Yes, good evening. This will help support testing at the end of the year, EL testing. This more computers for us.
I'm glad you could find some.
We have a couple.
Move to approve.
Second.
Ms. McAdams?
Yes.
Dr. McNeil?
Yes.
Mr. Reyes?
Yes.
Mr. Kinnear?
Yes.
The chair votes yes as well.
Thank you.
Thank you, Todd. All right, item number 6 has been pulled from the agenda. Item number 7, consider and take action to accept the bid for the Big Chill Water Damage Insurance Project and approve and award the contract, assign such contract to Key Construction Oklahoma LLC with price amendment number 2 in the amount of $368,062 from insurance funds. Mr. Isaacs.
Yes, Dr. Hartzler, President Romerman, members of the board, good evening. So this is the last piece of our Big Chill repair project sequence. So we're going to be spread out a little bit all over the district. We've got an air handler that needs to be replaced at Ochoa, some carpeting in the high school on some of the classrooms. The entrance, the decorative entrance to the PAC had moisture damage, so that's going to be replaced. The last bit of sisal at the freshman academy is going to be removed and replaced.
Whatever will we do?
So it got damaged, so yeah, so that's kind of nice. So we're making progress, but and then there's some odds and ends. The baseball concession stand was hit pretty hard, and I think Josh and I learned we never want to go. It's kind of like the pandemic. We don't want to ever have to do this again. So we've been paying a lot of close attention to how we close buildings up. I even have an infrared gun, and I think Crossland thought I was crazy. I was checking every crevice that I could find, during the cold weather just to make sure that we had coverage. So with your contingent upon board approval, we'll move forward with this project.
Move for approval.
Second.
Mr. Reyes?
Yes.
Mr. Kinnear?
Yes.
Dr. McNeil?
Yes.
Ms. McAdams?
Yes.
The chair votes yes as well.
Thank you.
All right, I don't believe we have any new business. There's an opportunity now for comments from the audience or board. No? Well, I would like to recognize we have some members of Leadership Union here this evening. We're always very proud of you guys. So when I call your name, stand up and let us know where you're from. Grace Roberts? Emily O'Shaughnessy?
Hello, I'm Emily O'Shaughnessy and I teach ER2
Awesome. And Erica Bailey?
Hello, I'm Erica Bailey. I'm school counselor at Bozeman.
Thank you for your leadership and, oh. All right. One more. Oh, sorry, my list is too short.
That's okay, I'm here. Hi, my name is Lakeisha Jackson and I work at the high school and I'm in the Project First Center.
Is that everybody? Did we get them all? Well, thank you all for your leadership and your investment in our children. Dr. Hartzler has something.
So I certainly would be remiss if I did not recognize our new 6A girls wrestling state champions, and so congratulations to them. I talked to them about maybe being here this evening, but we thought maybe it would be best to bring them back in April. They were kind of exhausted, I think, after the state tournament. Said, "Can we just wait till April?" I said, "Not a problem. You're still going to be state champions in April, just like you're state champions now." So, very proud of this group of young ladies, and I tell you, it's amazing because our junior high wrestling team also, they were state champions in the junior high classifications. But it's really remarkable in knowing that we've only competed now. This is our second year in competing at the state level, and to take home the 6A state championship is really remarkable. So, yeah, I think they're already talking about defending it next year, and I'm like, you go get them, go get them. So, congratulations to them.
Yeah, it's fantastic. All right, I believe now we are going to move into executive session. Item A, motion and vote pursuant to Oklahoma Statute Title 25, Section 307B1, to go into executive session to discuss the evaluations of the superintendent and the chief financial officer.
Move to approve.
Second.
Dr. McNeil?
Yes.
Ms. McAdams?
Yes.
Mr. Kinnear?
Yes.
Mr. Reyes?
Yes.
The chair votes yes as well. We are now in executive session.